Buenos dias a todos. Again, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Gina Amato. I'm an immigration attorney. I also teach at Loyola Law School, and I've been a partner of Richstone Families for many years. I worked just in the back of the building since they've been in this facility. I work for Public Counsel, which is a nonprofit law firm in Koreatown. We practice in 10 different areas. We do lots of different things. So I work in the Immigrant Rights Project, but we also do bankruptcy, children's rights, eviction defense, veterans rights, what is the rest? Community development, helping people start nonprofit organizations and maintain them. So we have a very large practice, but again, I work specifically in immigration. And I'm happy to be here today because there's a lot going on, as you guys know, in the community, and our clients have a lot of fear. So what we're going to cover today, a lot of it is new material, even for me. Okay, so I've been doing immigration law for 9 years, and this is honestly the craziest time. I mean, there's a lot of stress not only for you guys and our clients, but for us immigration attorneys as well. So what I'm going to go over is a post-inauguration update, so what's going on in the world of immigration right now, a brief overview of eligibility for certain forms of relief that your clients may qualify for. Okay, so in terms of a post-inauguration update, what do we know and what don't we know? I'm going to tell you there's a lot we don't know. Okay, I don't know. Basically, what you know is what I know. There's nothing that we're getting a heads up about. As you can see, there are attacks happening every single day. We're waking up and like the world is changing extremely rapidly. So I don't want you to think I have some like secret cache of information, but I will tell you what we know so far. So he has been enacting and intends to enact really harsh measures against immigrants. As we know, Obama was also very harsh on immigrants. He deported more people than any other president in the history of the United States. Trump is about 1,000 times worse. So we are facing some very, very tough times right now. But we also know that our state and local governments here in California support immigrants' rights and have vowed to not cooperate with Trump or help enforce his policies. So, yes.
People have been getting caught up by ICE all around here.
Yeah, all across the country. And the problem is that immigration law, it's federal. Immigration law is a federal body of law. So although the states and the local governments oppose these policies, they're in the process of trying to resist Trump's policies, but because they're federal policies, they're very powerful and they're hard to defeat. So yeah, you're right. People have been getting picked up by ICE, not only in our communities, but all across the United States, and we're going to continue to see that, most likely throughout these 4 years. So we have to be ready, we have to be prepared, and that's why we're doing these types of forums across the community. Okay, what don't we know? We don't know exactly which anti-immigrant campaigns he's going to implement. Like, for example, he has said that he is going to take away the DACA program, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It hasn't disappeared yet, it's still in effect, so that's good news. The border wall, I think he's probably going to push it and try to make that happen. He's already taken steps to do that. Have we seen building yet? No. So we just don't know exactly what's coming down, but we do have some ideas, so I'm going to do the best that I can to sort of convey that information to you. We also don't know the legal barriers that any new anti-immigrant policies would face in the courts. So we're battling it out right now with the Muslim ban, right? The travel ban. We're battling that in court. So far, we're doing great. We've won so far. But again, you just don't know whether or not you're going to be successful in the courts in terms of challenging these policies. But I can say that my colleagues across the board have been getting prepared, have gotten ready, and both times that Trump has enacted these travel bans, within hours it has been challenged in the courts. So that's a good sign. That says that our attorneys and our advocates, we're ready for this challenge, and we are going to fight, and we're going to resist every step of the way. So at least there's a strong line of defense in place. Okay, so a very brief overview of immigration law, and afterward I can answer more specific questions. But there are generally three major ways in which you can get immigration benefits. One is through a family member. Okay, the most common way to immigrate through a family member is by marrying a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse. Okay, the other way that often applies to our clients is to immigrate through your U.S. citizen child. In order to get papers based on your child has to be a U.S. citizen and also has to have be at least 21 years old. So if you have a 5-year-old and your 5-year-old is a U.S. citizen, it's going to be many, many years until you can pursue your immigration papers based on that relationship. The other thing I want to say about family-based petitions is it is a very risky process in many instances. So it's kind of, without getting too deep into the weeds in terms of the complications, the problem is this. Most people entered the country undocumented, right? Most of our clients who are here undocumented entered undocumented. We have some clients or some family members and friends who entered on a visa and overstayed the visa, but the more common scenario is to enter without documents. Unless the family member, the U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident family member that they're trying to immigrate through, unless they filed this paperwork before April 2001, the immigrant cannot get their green card in the United States. They have to leave the country, go back to their country of origin, go to the consulate, undergo an interview, and try to re-enter the country. That is an extremely risky process. One, because many of the consulates, such as like Ciudad Juarez, it's dangerous there. There's a lot of violence. You don't want to be stuck out there for however long. The other thing is that this is a discretionary process, meaning that even if you so-called qualify, a consular official can deny you re-entry to the United States for whatever reason. Like, let's say you have an arrest or a conviction in your past that may not legally prevent you from getting status. You could very easily get a consular official to interview you who thinks, you know what, I think you're a risk to society. Even though your conviction doesn't really change the status of your eligibility, I just don't like that you commit that crime, and I think you're a dangerous person, and in my discretion, I deny your application. So, and right now, even green card holders can have trouble getting back into the country, as we saw with the first travel ban. So, traveling outside of the United States, in my opinion, is not a good idea, even if it's to pursue immigration benefits. There are some limited circumstances in which it's the best option and you should go ahead and do that, but I would only do that under the supervision and consultation of an attorney, of an immigration attorney. Okay? Any questions about that process before I move on? Because I know it's kind of tricky.
What can we tell some of our clients that maybe are already in that process and they don't know which kind of way to go?
I would verify that they're consulting with an attorney. I would verify that the person that they're consulting with is actually an attorney by either looking them up on the California State Bar website or maybe reaching out to me. Maybe I know that person, or I would also, if they're not consulting with an attorney, or you think, oh, they're consulting with someone but I'm not sure who it is, I would probably send them to their consulate of origin. So if they're Mexican, I would send them to the Mexican consulate of Los Angeles and have them get an appropriate referral just to at least consult with somebody about it. Again, there are some circumstances in which it's, the best option, but I would really want somebody trustworthy analyzing that case and telling them that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Emma.
Going back to getting possibly legal status through your child, are there any programs that at least one parent could stay if the child is a minor but it's disabled?
Okay, that's a good question. So a lot of people think that if they have a special needs child, that there's a form of relief available to them. A lot of people think if I've lived here for a long time and I have a special needs child, I can apply for and get benefits. There is a form of relief that exists called cancellation of removal. And in order to qualify for cancellation of removal, you have to prove that you've lived in the United States for 10 years, that you're a person of good moral character, and that if you're deported, a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident family member will suffer unusual and severe harm. That's usually where the special needs comes in, because you have to show that, look, I have this child or this spouse or this other family member that has a severe condition. They need me. If you deport me, this person is going to suffer extreme and unusual harm. The problem is this: that form of relief is only available to people who are already in removal proceedings. So if you're just living in the shadows and you're living your life and everything's cool, you know, ICE hasn't caught you, that form of relief is not available to you. It's once you've been apprehended and placed in removal proceedings where you can apply for that relief. The issue is that we have tons of notarios out there. Notarios are people who are basically practicing immigration law unauthorized. Many of them were notary publics in their country of origin, but here in the United States, they have no authority to practice law. And the problem is that a lot of these notarios will convince our clients, our community members, that that form of relief is available to them. So what they'll do is they will file a fraudulent asylum application on behalf of that person so that the application will be denied and the person will be placed in removal proceedings so that they can then apply for that form of relief. Do you guys follow? Okay. We don't want that, because those types of cases are extremely hard to win. You don't know what judge you're going to get. You don't know how it's going to go. You don't know, the trial attorney for the government. You just don't know. There's so many risk factors involved. And if you lose that case, well, guess what? You get a removal order and you get deported. So